All right, welcome back to another episode of the Humor Hustle. Today I'm joined by my co-host Garrett, and alongside us we've got some special guests today. We've got Trae and Collin with Not A Thrift Store.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not sure what a thrift store is, but explain to me what Not A Thrift Store is.
Yeah, so Not A Thrift Store is our business that we just started. My brother actually started it. And we travel around. We traveled through Utah, been to Idaho, Colorado, and now we're on our way to Oregon.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
soon.
Like a traveling vintage shop.
Yeah.
So kind of like a thrift store,
But not a thrift store.
not a thrift store.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm curious because you guys have a really unique way of marketing this. And Garrett and I were looking over your Instagram pages. I think one thing that stood out to us is you've amassed a following of 90,000. In large part, what I'm just assuming is your unique travel idea. You guys are doing this through a bus. So walk me through the story of the bus.
Where did that idea come from?
Yeah.
Because it's never been, as far as I know, it's never been done before.
Well, it's not a thrift store.
It's not a thrift store.
So,
It's actually 100,000 now.
Yeah, we just
100,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
wow,
100K.
congrats.
2 days ago. Thank you.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, basically, so the way that it started, like I said, Kason, my little brother, he was 15, he was in high school, and he's just been crazy. He's always had crazy ambitions, crazy ideas, and he told his friends he was going to buy a school bus, and they're like, oh, no, you're not going to buy a school bus, whatever. And he's like, okay, now I have to buy a school bus. So he wanted to get it just to convert it and hang out with his friends in. So one day in 5th grade, there was a bus that opened up right down the street on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000.
It was 1,000.
And
Running?
He didn't even have. It was barely running.
Wow.
Yeah, it's this 1980s, like, sick vintage school bus, but it barely ran.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they saw it on. My dad saw it on Facebook, and Kason didn't even have the money. They're like, we've got to buy it, because like he's been looking all around the country, thinking of traveling outside the state to get this school bus. So they're like, okay, we're gonna go get it. So literally didn't even have a car yet. Didn't even have his license.
He's 15.
He's 15.
Wow.
Yeah. They went and bought a school bus. So
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
where's Kason now? Is he still involved with Not A Thrift Store? Like, is he still kind of behind the scenes? Like, where is he now? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah, Kason's doing sales, but he's still, like, involved as much as he can be. He's
Okay.
super busy, but
he'll make an appearance every once in a while.
So how old is he now?
He's 19.
19 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, so is he still as involved as you guys are, or how did that kind of happen where it was like his idea, but he's not like as involved as he used to be?
Was, because he's doing sales, he had a little bit of extra money to spend. It was right after the summer that he had purchased the second bus that we're now using. So
You guys have. This is
Yeah.
not the original bus.
So this is the second.
Okay.
The one that we're using now is our second bus.
yeah,
that we
the
have.
first one was, like, the one that barely ran, which we definitely, like, could not take to Idaho. And
Yeah.
so-
Right.
Literally is top like 30 miles an hour. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. But where
We were talking about, like, when Kason kind of...
Oh yeah, so he's
So-
basically he funded the bus, got it all started, got it running. Obviously it was his idea at first. So we credit him for that. But yeah, we've been behind the scenes
Yeah,
working.
he left for sales last year, summer of last year, and he reached out on TikTok, and he was just like, who wants to run the bus? I'm gonna go do sales. And I just commented, like, me. And then he's like, wait, for real? And then I talked to him, and I was like, yeah, dude, that seems dope. And I saw a lot of potential in it, so.
So had the Not A Thrift Store idea already been started?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how is this like entirety? How long has it been going for?
Like,
I want to say a little bit over a year.
Oh wow.
I think. Yeah.
the new one.
The new one, it's been
actually
7
runs,
months.
Yeah.
So
Kason's
that's
since
new now.
Kason started selling in my mom's backyard, it's been a little bit over a year.
Okay.
That's where he started. So just to back up, so he didn't necessarily get the bus. Did he start selling clothing before he got the bus?
No.
Okay.
So it wasn't. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the original idea. He wanted to raise money for converting the bus into like an Airbnb or like a living space. So he threw some clothes in the bus, thinking it would be sick to just sit in there, sell clothes, like a yard sale. And then I guess a post blew up on TikTok.
No way.
Tons of people showed up. Like a line out the backyard, like cars just parked all in the street. So
that was during, I think I saw a video of it, and it was like in the winter. And people were like out there in the cold.
Yeah.
Just waiting to get a turn.
Yeah. So
holy cow.
That wasn't the original idea. Wasn't to travel and to sell clothes all over. Like it kind of has just evolved into that, which is it's been crazy.
The reason we actually started traveling is kind of interesting. We actually got in trouble because while Kason was out doing sales and I was running it, we actually had some neighbors or somebody call and complain about a bunch of people coming and a bunch of lines and cars parking all over the streets to come to the bus.
Because you guys are in a neighborhood, right?
Yeah. It's literally in my mom's backyard.
So you guys are just packing this neighborhood. Oh my
and
God.
they're just like, the police show up and Trae's mom just gives me a call and she's like, hey, you can't open the bus anymore in the backyard. And that sucked for me because I had just like quit my job and like invested all of my time into the bus.
So you quit. So where were you working before?
I was working at a call center job.
And you said, F it, dude, I'm going to just do this full time.
Yeah, for the first month I tried to do both, and that just wasn't working because it's just so much work just to because Kason was gone, so I was just trying to figure out all by myself where do I get this clothes stuff. So I quit a week before it got shut down.
Wow.
So it was really bad timing. But
So you took everything the guy we had on last week was talking about. At what point do you define yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yep.
And he had this whole breakdown. He did a bunch. Nice voice crack, by the way. He had this whole breakdown, and he did a bunch of research on what he would personally define as an entrepreneur, and he defines it by risk tolerance. And he's like, oh, there's partial, which is you still have a 9-to-5 and you do this on the side as a hobby, and then what was just below cereal?
I can't remember. Well, so cereal was, I want to say the top one, was it not?
Cereal, yeah. So he had it all broken down into risk tolerance. So an example of something that you did was cereal, because you took everything you had and left it behind you and only dedicated yourself to that.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. He had this whole research thing. So you stopped where you were working just to do this now, but are you guys both doing this full time? Is it self-sustaining, so you're not doing anything outside of what you're doing currently?
yeah.
Yeah, I think we were both going to school before.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what, just for context, what were you doing before what you're doing now?
I was kind of doing the same thing in a way. I'm a videographer and photographer as well.
Okay.
So I was a freelancer making wedding videos, music videos.
Oh, okay, cool.
Stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so now it's to the point where this is self-sustaining. So I guess now, where do you see it going from here? Because you obviously have already traveled and done all these things, but now that you have a following to back you, is your plan to pretty much hit every state? Or where do you go from here, I guess?
Here we come.
You want to go to Hawaii?
We definitely, I don't think we really have a choice but to hit every state. Everybody wants us to go everywhere, and we're not going to hit the same places over and over again.
Right.
So it would be so fun. And just I really feel bad not being able to reach all the people that want us to be there. So
yeah, because I stalked your guys' Instagram a little bit, did a little personal research, but there's comments in there that are from all over the United States. So oh, you should come here, you should go there. But you said the next stop you're planning on is Bend, Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oregon.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's cool. But to be able to travel like that was such a wild idea.
Yeah.
And you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but where do you get your supply from? Do you thrift your own supply and then resell it, or how does that work?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask that because we go through a lot of clothes. Like
how many, you don't have to say the amount obviously, but how many articles of clothing do you usually sell at each stop?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't. Yeah, there's no.
Per tour.
I would say
We go
event
through.
per location. We probably sell. What would you say?
You don't have to give the money amount, just like
not
an
the-
article
like-
amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say 12.
I would say 600 to 800 per
600 to 800
location.
articles
Per
of
location.
Articles of clothing.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. Dude,
So
okay,
do
so
you-
I'm doing the math in my head. If each of those, I don't know what you buy them for, what you hold, like, but I'm doing the math in my head. Let's say each article of clothing, what, 10, 12 bucks? Even if it was just $10, that's $6,800 per location.
Yeah. And again, we're just assuming.
Holy shit.
But no, that's awesome though. And then so if you ever run out or get low, do you have a like do you keep every article of clothing you have in the bus?
Yeah.
Or like,
Run out.
and then how do you, I guess if you were traveling and still like on one of your tours, how do you resupply, or do you just go till you
Yeah.
can't?
So
no more?
Colin's the mastermind behind all that. What we do is, we have a trailer for our tours. We literally haul a U-Haul behind the bus with just full of clothes. Because during each event, it's a limited space inside, so it gets ran through really quick. So we're just restocking like the whole time. We'll have people putting clothes through windows in the back, and then we hang them up, put them out through the entire event. So
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
crazy, but it's also pretty lucrative because there's people that are going to buy something from you that don't necessarily want it. They just want to be a part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they want to be like, maybe
It's the experience.
just for context, I know every teenage to early 20s girl in Utah County knows who you guys are.
Oh,
Like, I'll just be straightforward with that. Like,
Guaranteed.
I've looked at the comments, bro. They're like, come here, go there, do this. Like, I want to buy that. But no, it's super lucrative because, like, I bet a lot of people that buy stuff from you aren't going to just walk into a thrift store and buy it themselves. They do it because they want to be a part of your cause. And it is a really cool idea, but it's funny how it works out like that, because somebody's going to buy something not because they want it, but just because they want to be a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And so I think that's super cool. So how long does a tour normally last? And I guess, like, how many days do you sell before you travel back and then restock? And
Yeah, so we've only officially done 2 tours. Everything else before that has been single locations at a time, like inside of Utah. So, I mean, we take about a week and a half at a time, 5 locations. Going to Oregon's going to be the farthest that we've ever gone. I think it's 13 hours to, like, the far point, and then just everything in between.
Is the bus going to make it?
the new one should.
The new one, right? Like, have you ever, so I'm curious, like, have you ever thought about, and this is just an idea that came to mind, you said that oftentimes you've got queues, you've got lines, you've got people just wanting to get into this thing. What would it take for you guys to maybe get a second or third bus? At what point do you guys look at, hey, let's go on tour and make this a whole freaking circus thing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
get that many people involved.
So that's always been a thing. Like, we've always wanted a second bus. It's kind of just the logistics behind that, meaning a whole nother set of employees, another driver, more gas, just all that, figuring that
And
out.
then
So
do you both have a CDL? Because I'm pretty you need one to
I
drive a
don't.
bus, don't you?
I don't. So
We're going to cut that out.
No, wait, you don't need a CDL.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So
We've had this conversation with police.
So they,
I got in trouble. No, I got in trouble for it once because I didn't know the rules behind it.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
actually such a
yeah,
funny story.
so if the vehicle is under 26,000 pounds and you're not hauling more than 16 passengers, you don't need a CDL.
yep.
Oh, okay, because I know, like, all school bus drivers need one,
Yeah.
but obviously that's
But they've
probably
got
because
passengers.
the amount of passengers and the weight on it. But no, I was just curious because I knew that was something that you needed a CDL for. So I was I didn't mean to throw it out
I'm
there
gonna get
like
one
that,
anyways. It's probably good if you're driving.
Just
a
to cover
40-foot
your
bus.
assets? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm also curious, too, because, I mean, I work in insurance. Do you guys have these things insured?
Yes.
And I'm guessing these cost you quite a bit.
That's our biggest expense, 1,000,000% is
So
insurance.
after this, let's talk. I think I can save you guys. So.
Oh, that's clutch. That's clutch, actually.
But yeah, we've got
That's a big
some
liability.
we've got some carriers we can look at. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that was just where my head went. I'm like, man, how are these guys? You know, because if we can cut down your costs that way, I think that would be cool. Anyway, off the record, but
Keep the self promo in there.
yeah, no, we can cut out my self promo. That was just me trying
Yeah.
to. But
But yeah, no, that's
I remember looking at that location when we were trying to
It's like-
just start traveling. We're just
Holy,
oh.
yeah.
We're like, we're cooked.
do you mind me asking how much it's costing you right now? I'm just curious. Like, what's your overhead like? So insurance being expensive, obviously your material. Like, what is this looking like?
On the Kaysen's one doing all that, so I honestly don't know the numbers.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot.
I think it's about, I want to say 2,000.
A month?
Yeah.
That's what it was when.
Yeah.
2Gs a month?
Yeah.
Oh my guys, we can
So-
help you. Okay.
but no, kind of getting back into it, a little bit. What's the promotion like? Obviously, like you travel to all these places, but how do you let people know you're there? Is it just Instagram stories and like this is where we're traveling next? And do you base, because Oregon's kind of a random place compared to where you've been going, so do you base it on the highest level of responses that you get, where you know you're going to get output for something like that?
Yeah. So that's how we decided to do our first tour, is all these people from Idaho. I don't know where they came from, but so many comments, just like, come to Idaho, come to Idaho, come to Idaho.
We were
Idaho.
talking about just like, what's even the point of like trying to make a creative video when every single comment is just gonna
It's
be
just-
come to Idaho?
That's
That's
literally every
crazy.
comment
So
we got on every
are you
video.
behind like all the because you said you're like videography side, so do you make most of like the posts and
Yeah,
stuff like
so
that, or-
when I first got involved, that was my main thing, is I was heading the social media.
okay?
And obviously, I'm a part of other aspects now, but we just hired a videographer on, and he's kind of tag teaming with me a little bit. But yeah, that's my main thing, is the social media.
Okay, and then
That's
kind of
cool.
staying on that route for a little bit, just talking from like a personal experience, but how have you been treated differently now that you kind of have somewhat of a following? Because from a personal standpoint, like, you know, when TikTok first started, if you have one, everyone would say that's a joke. Why would you have a TikTok? Blah blah blah. And then I was one of the ones that started like in 2019. I don't do it a ton now. I'm getting back into it obviously for stuff like this, but I had a couple people that said at the beginning, like, this is dumb. Why are you doing this? You're making a fool of yourself. And then the second I started getting somewhat of a following and getting, you know, a couple millions of views on my videos, the switch up happened.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
I had people in my DMs that I wouldn't necessarily say I was ever like close friends with, but
Yeah.
just out of nowhere, they're like, how are you doing, man? Like,
yeah, kind of like.
I want to
like
be
what
a
I
part
did.
of this. And
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah, it's exactly what I did. I was like, Trae, what's up,
random
dude?
people in like LA reach out to you.
I've had some weird, like, I've had a bunch of people that are into marketing saying, because I do streaming too, and I probably get 3 or 4 messages a week of people saying, I'll edit all your stuff for you. I'll make all your graphics for you. I'll do this. I'll do that. But
Yeah.
no, there's more specifically with people that I kind of already knew. I wouldn't say friends, more like I just went to school with this person. Never talked to them on a consistent basis, maybe just in passing in the hallway, like, what's up, dude? But
Yeah.
people that would just message after I had already gotten kind of, and it wasn't even like, I wouldn't even say public figure. I don't count. First of all, I don't think TikTok followers mean much, because
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to get followers there than it is on like Instagram or YouTube. But
Man, you guys got crazy problems.
But
I
even-
got 800 followers.
but no, the first message I got, I only at the time had like, I think I just barely gotten the K next to my name. But for some reason, there's like a flip that switches when someone sees, oh, it's 10K or 20K.
Yeah.
So the second there was
weird, 'cause,
it's really weird.
We do it too. Like I catch myself doing it as well.
Yeah, and
Like,
I did that to
really?
myself.
Yeah.
As soon as I hit that, like, I didn't openly express this, but I was like, shit, bro. Like,
It's so bad.
I'm up there, and
It's so bad.
it
I hate
affected
it.
me, and I hate that mindset because I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I didn't actually ever express it, but I was like, I'm that dude now, like, but it's
just
not
because of a number.
it's
on
it's
your
crazy,
phone.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So But yeah, have you ever experienced those kind of DMs, because there were people that all of a sudden cared about what I was doing, or people that never talked to me before, and even the ones that said I was dumb at the beginning coming back and saying, "Oh, we should do a video," or "You want to promote me on this?" or like, "Do you need help with anything? I'll do it for free."
Yeah.
Or using you to get to somebody else. Like if I have a couple verified people that follow me, and I've even had people message me saying, "Yo, how you been? Like, what have you been up to?" And then I'll just be cordial and like respond, and they'll say, "Oh, I heard you know this guy. Can you like connect me with him?" And I'm like, "Dude, really?"
So what's been your experience with that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious.
I definitely feel that. It's crazy the world we live in, how like your followers can just affect, first of all, like the way you think about yourself. Because I catch myself thinking like, oh, like puffing up my chest.
You selfish bastard.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's a real thing though. I can relate to that. It gets to your head. The second there was a K next to my name, I thought I had just jumped a societal level. Like,
and let me just say, the only reason I'm saying that is because I legit have 800 followers. So the only reason I feel like I can say that is because I literally have nobody following me except my mom. So, but you know.
But no, it's the whole mindset thing is crazy.
I think there's a point where you stop caring. At least for me, I've kind of stopped caring about the amount of followers I have in like a social aspect.
Right.
I'm more just like, this is how the business is. Because I remember at the beginning when it had like 800 followers, I made one reel that got like 1 million. No, it was a TikTok that got like 1.5 million.
Doesn't that make you feel good though?
It made me feel really
Dude,
good.
in the moment, my first video with 1 million, I was like,
you just like rethink life. You're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Like,
many
at
people.
that point, I was like, let's go. This is the best thing ever. And now I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you're at the point too where it gets like a crazy amount of views and stuff, and you're kind of just like.
I think it's the opposite now for me. Once a video doesn't pop off and it has like less views, it starts to get to my head.
You're almost like
Really?
upset about it, because the
like,
second
I'm like, so like.
I can't relate. I'm gonna let y'all talk this one out, 'cause
I don't
Again.
think.
Desensitized.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I just don't think what a lot of people realize, especially with content creation, is at least my mindset was, the first video I ever had hit 1 million. I was just automatically assuming everyone after that was going to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd post a video one week that had 1 million, and then the very next one was like 8,000. And then one the week after that hit 5 million, and then I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, it's going to be consistent now. The one after that, 4,000.
And you're like, what was it?
And yeah, I'm like what
did I do
happened?
differently?
Yeah, how can I change this? And then
Like,
so
was I like looking at the camera weird? Did I say something
exactly?
wrong?
But
Like,
the algorithm's a weird place, man.
It is,
And,
and it's hard to put yourself out there too.
oh, absolutely.
Like.
did you guys have struggles putting yourself out there? Like,
I still do.
Oh my gosh,
were you
I
nervous
get-
about it? Like,
I still do. I mean, I feel like
I feel like social media, like, I feel like everybody's super insecure about it. I don't think anybody is
Yeah.
confident about every single thing that they post, especially when it's a job where like you're required to.
I think there's different kinds of people for sure.
Right.
I'm definitely one that like thinks about that a lot.
The analytical mindset.
Yeah. So I'm always like, what are people gonna think of me? Like, I gotta make sure I say the right thing, and so.
Yeah. And
and are you like that too, where you're like, I got to think about what other people are gonna think about me, or are you just kind of like, no, I'll just post
I don't
whatever?
really think about like what people I actually know think about me anymore.
Yeah.
The social aspect, like people treating you different. I've had times where I try actually not to bring it up as a first thing whenever I meet people, because I don't want them to just know me as just like I don't want that to be the only interesting thing.
you don't want somebody to walk up to you and say, "You're the thrift store guy.
You're the bus guy.
You're the bus guy."
That's the line.
You want them to know you for you first, rather than what you're attached to.
It does bother me a little bit when like someone I'm super close to will introduce me to somebody and they'll be like, "Oh, this is Collin. You know like the bus like online."
Oh,
like,
damn.
That's him. And then I'm like, okay.
So let me ask you this, I guess on a deep level. Let's put the bus aside. Let's just say Not A Thrift Store doesn't exist. Collin, who do you want to be known as? And Trae, I'm asking you the same thing, right? I'm curious.
That's a good question.
Who does Collin want to be known as? Because for our audience out there and for our audience watching, I don't want you to look at these guys as the Not A Thrift Store guys.
So don't walk up to him.
So
Don't say, "Hey, you're the
Bus doesn't exist.
you're the
Yeah.
guy with the paint on the side of the bus."
No, I appreciate it. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool to be recognized. Because, like,
Yeah,
I mean, we
that's
went
so
to a
sick.
concert the other night, and, like, people point us out. Hey, you're the bus guy, right? I think it's so sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And-
definitely not
yeah.
what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, you clout Jason.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure at the beginning.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's so cool that people like that we like created something
Yeah.
that people like that much,
Mm-hmm.
and to build like a community where people are so cool to like come out and be like,
Support it.
support
Yeah.
it, and be like, we've had people be like, you guys are inspiring, and they're like, we want to start our own like business like this.
And
So
that's a
so
good
cool.
feeling too.
Buy them all up.
That's a
Snatch
good
'em.
feeling. When you get even just something as simple as like a DM, a kid, and this was when I had like, I don't even think I was at 5,000 yet, but even just for somebody to say, "Yo, I saw your video and I just want you to know I was having like a really bad day and I saw your video and it just made me so happy and like pumped up." That's what makes me feel good.
That's what.
Even more so than being
Yeah.
recognized, it's more to the point of like, if you can create something that effectively changes the way somebody's feeling in a positive way, then I think that's what got to me. But especially when you start, I'm sure it's really cool to get recognized. You want to be
Yeah.
recognized for, something that you created, but it might eventually get to a point where you start to feel like you're more than what you created. So I guess back to his question,
Yeah, who do you want to be known
who
as?
do you want to be
Yeah.
known as? Eventually, I'm sure it's like, it's amazing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be recognized, to be noticed, because that's something growing up that you didn't think was possible unless you were in a movie or you were in the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
But to
so
be able to,
keep in mind, the next thing that comes out of your mouth, the next thing you say, anytime someone sees you out in public, this is how they're going to approach you. "Oh my gosh, you're Collin.
Yeah.
This is you," versus "You're the Not A Thrift Store
Yeah.
guy." So whatever, no pressure, no pressure. But
Think about it.
But yeah, whatever comes out of your mouth, who does Collin want to be known as? An audience, this is how you should approach him if you ever see him in public.
Colin. I just want to be known as Colin.
Original.
Yeah.
wow,
But,
heartwarming.
I mean, like I've accepted that, and I think you have too. That like our entire personalities are basically
Yeah.
just the boss. Like, I have to, I have to catch myself in conversations. Be like, okay, don't just talk about the boss, because it is my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
it's all I do.
Well, you gave everything up, right?
Yeah, I devoted literally my entire life to this.
So is that-
and traded too?
Is that who you want to be known as, or is that just kind of how you've accepted it? Because there is a difference, right?
Yeah, that's totally okay with me. But I'd love just like being able to have myself like come first.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and that,
And that just mostly ties into social media and stuff, where I just kind of have to separate myself from like followers, and just social media is so toxic for you. You just gotta be like, I'm not just like a bunch of numbers. Like, I'm a person.
Yeah.
You know?
it's a lot different behind a screen, that's for sure. And even some like content creators, who they are in front of the camera isn't who they are behind it. They kind of have to put on a persona. Like, I'm sure you know who Sketch is. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, who's that?
You don't know who that is?
I don't actually.
You don't know who Sketch is?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Buzz cut,
Okay,
wears a
so-
Texans jersey.
Audience, you will now know Trae is the guy who doesn't know Sketch.
no.
Hey, you're the guy that doesn't know who the most famous creator on the planet is right now.
A while ago, I was like, what's up, brother, to you? And you were like,
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
He didn't. That's
Oh,
crazy.
man, that's
but
funny.
no, kind of
And
just.
you didn't explain to me.
No, it's
Dang,
okay.
But yeah, more future speaking, because I know, you said you're cool with just accepting being the bus guy right now. But the nice thing about having something that you create that turns into something that's successful, it opens up avenues to start something else. Most people who have a successful business or, a successful following on social media turn around and make that into branching off into more businesses. And just as an example, like the Sidemen, the YouTube group, they have also a clothing brand. And
Wait, who's that?
they have a clothing brand and like a couple restaurants, and the one dude, KSI, owns Prime. And so I guess a little more forward speaking, do you want this to be your entire life, or would you be open to?
No, please no. No,
yeah.
So
So
right
eventually,
now,
right,
right now it is my entire life, and like it's all I'm gonna be focusing on. And I have like ideas for other stuff, but like right now, like I can't divert my attention to anything else.
yeah.
You've
Yeah.
burned the boats. Like you're
You're in it.
You're all in.
You're in it.
All in.
Yeah.
But
That's
so I guess
crazy.
to ask the exact same question from a future standpoint, who would you want to be known as beyond what you're doing right now, or what other avenue would you want to pursue outside of what you already have going, which is
Yeah.
the nice thing about social media and it opening avenues. So
Yeah,
Is there-
I'm very grateful for just the attention. I've never been one that like wants to be the attention or wants to be, that center. But at the same time, I am grateful for the attention that it's bringing, so that I can branch out. And even though it's not really falling to my personal, it's all just Not A Thrift Store. Everyone cares about the bus, But as far as the money goes and everything, I'm grateful for the attention that it's bringing in. And I'm not sure exactly which ways I want to take it, but I'm very much, I want to influence people, and I want to be a positive influence for people's lives. So
So like people opening up thrift stores, or like expand on your positive influence part.
yeah,
Like
Well-
go in more into that.
I guess like
I know we're getting really deep.
You're
Yeah.
like an artist. I feel like.
yeah, well,
In a way.
so I've always wanted to I want to say public speaking. I want to be in front of people, and I want to have those relationships, but I haven't always been that person. So and just like doing hard things. I ran a ultra marathon back in January, and I did it because of like my mental health, and I feel like I want to be a positive influence for people that are struggling with mental health as well. I think that's where I was trying to get at.
right.
Is I want to show people that like you can do whatever you want and you can have whatever you want, even if you feel like you're somebody that can't. Because me, like growing up and even now, I struggle with like self-image and just feeling like I'm worth it. I feel like it's a general human thing.
Right.
But I just want to be a positive influence. I want to do crazy things. I want to run 100-milers. I want to just be known as that person that like doesn't give up and is always. Does that make sense?
just
Yeah.
Kind of just rambling.
And that's
on for a long
it's
time.
sorry, I didn't.
But
That's so good.
Yeah, but no, I didn't.
that was so
Nothing
many
wrong with
different
that.
places.
I didn't mean to get on
but-
that deep of a level, but the
Yeah.
reason I wanted to
It's not that
I was-
deep, but, like,
it's not that deep, but the reason I wanted to put you on the spot and frame the question to both of you in that way is because whether you think so or not, you're in a position right now that you're going to be able to open up other avenues a lot quicker than you might have
Yeah.
originally thought you were going to.
And honestly, like those people that you want to leave that impact for positivity and good, like I don't think you guys realize the feat you've already done hitting 100K.
Yeah.
You already have a platform where you've already inspired people. And now like that mental aspect that you want to bring awareness to, dude, you guys have the ability already to do that. So whether you think about it or not, I'm not saying don't push for the moon or
Yeah.
even the stars or farther, but you guys have already done something that honestly most people would have already quit at, right? So keep going because your influence is going to reach a lot of people, and I really do believe
appreciate
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why I wanted to bring it up because I don't know if that's something that you've thought about because you've been running laps worrying about your business and where you're traveling and this and that, but you are closer to the point of new avenues than I don't know if this is something you've ever even thought about before, but I wanted to phrase it that way so it's something that you do start thinking about, because you're already in a position where you can start to explore other routes and figure out your why. I know your why right now is your business and making people excited to show up for that, but there's a lot of power that comes with a following on social media, and that means you already are hitting the ground running. You don't have to go from the floor to the ceiling. You're already kind of in that middle level where if you do start something else, you're already going to have a following. If you make, just for an example, if you make like an energy drink brand, you're not going to be starting from nothing, because you already have people that are there for you, and they will move over to all these other aspects in your life. Just like I've had this conversation with Parker. We don't want this to be our livelihood, but are we going to use it as an avenue to other places? Absolutely. 100%. And so that's why I wanted to ask it, just to get you both to kind of think about that, because you really are a lot closer to having new business ventures than you might think that you were at the moment that you're in right now.
I guess it kind of sounded like we just like don't know where we're gonna go after this.
You don't have a
we
goal
have
plan?
a vision. We do have a vision, and I have a vision as well.
Yeah.
Just for my life personally, but I guess it was just being put on the spot, kind of.
Yeah. No.
So that portion you shared with us, the public speaking, the mental health awareness, is that kind of the avenue that this platform is going to give you? Or is that the vision you're seeing, or do you mind sharing a little glimpse of what that looks like?
Well, I've always felt that that's not necessarily been what I've wanted. I don't want to stand on stage, and I don't want to do certain things, but I feel like that's a part of like
your calling.
My calling. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, the bus has definitely helped. Just like we've met so many people on trips and on just people that come to the bus that were able to like change their lives in a way. Like there's these kids that are looking for something, and we have the opportunity to help them and to inspire them. So I would love to take the bus sort of that route as well. We actually are planning on launching a campaign to do that. Semi.
Okay.
It's called A Seat for Everyone.
Oh, I like that. So is it kind of like an all-inclusive, everyone has a spot type feel?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, that's a lot what the bus is about. It's just like making people feel included. We have just a very we just really try to make everybody feel included. We have people like me or Trae or Logan or Kaysen talking to every single person, making sure every single person feels like they're a part of Not A Thrift Store.
Mm-hmm.
Come to these events.
Yeah. And you know what's remarkable about that? Like if you look at like big brands, and I don't think you guys realize what you're really onto, okay? So in any company and business, if you ever look at their structure, it always starts with why. I don't know if you guys have read the book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why.
Mm-mm.
But when you have a following and a platform that you guys have where the why is so strong that people feel included and they're so drawn to your brand, the loyalty and the retention becomes unreal. Mm-hmm. It's unmasked and it's unbeaten. You look at Apple, why do they do what they do? They want everyone to feel like simplicity is excellence. They want everyone to feel like they can belong to a brand. And you look at Microsoft, they've been able to do the same thing. What you guys are doing, and I'm going to just come out and say it publicly, it's on that level. Like, and it's pretty fucking cool to be able to say that. Like, I don't think you realize the impact that you're going to be having on these kids and these people, because now that you have a seat for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. That inclusivity, wow, English, is literally going to just give people something to look forward to. And it's going to give every kid a chance to really feel like they're a part of something. I mean, and I'm curious, I may be way off on this. Mm-hmm. Did either of you guys have, wow, this is really out of the blue. Did either of you guys have any traumas or any bullying that happened maybe in high school where maybe you didn't feel included? Yeah. I'm very curious because I feel like I might be on the right track. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's funny. I actually did get bullied in middle school, and I've gotten beat up before, and it's
not cool.
No, like
not cool.
And like it's weird because the seat for everyone, yeah. It like wasn't it wasn't my idea, but I like totally resonate with it because I've been in that position before where I felt like I didn't fit in, and
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate even the thought of, especially younger kids, like just being picked on. Like nobody deserves to be picked on and cast out. Like, and I think it runs in the family. My whole family is super passionate about that. Like, anytime we hear about bullying, these kids that there was this recently there was a 10-year-old boy who committed suicide because he was being bullied, and just stuff like that irks me, like, and just to be able to I want to help these young kids and help them feel like they're worth something and feel like
and that's the beautiful thing about social media is even something as simple as replying to a comment automatically makes someone feel like they're a part of what you're doing. So just to be able and to a lot of people, you are who someone would consider like a famous influencer, right? So a lot of people think of you as their favorite media or account to follow and to like interact with. So especially for the younger generation, if they leave a comment saying like, oh, this is awesome, for something as simple as you to like it or reply to it, they automatically feel like they're now a part of what you're doing. And I think that's a good thing to do. And I think it's important to remember where you started, because a lot of people eventually get to the point where, oh, I'm too famous to take 10 seconds and like a comment. I have 1 million now. I can't take 30 seconds out of my day to reply to 3 comments. But at that point, you're going to lose a lot of respect I'm not saying you guys personally, but people that get to that point to where they just automatically put themselves on a pedestal above everybody else. Yeah. So the nice thing about that is with what you're doing is the more because eventually I'll just say it and I'll remain hopeful about it, is like you guys are going to hit 1 million eventually. Like what you're doing
very quickly, actually.
Quickly more than eventually, but because it's something so new and something that people haven't seen before, obviously you have a trajectory to hit it a lot faster than you originally thought you would have. But being able to take a little bit of your time out of the day, I know people are busy, but no one's that busy. If you think you're busy, if we think we're busy, there's someone that does twice as much as you and still has time to do the stuff that we're talking about. But yeah, just to be able to make someone feel like they're a part of what you're doing by something so simple, and remaining to do that throughout the entirety of how long this lasts for and how long it goes on for, you're immediately going to gain a follower for life no matter what you do. Yes. If you have another company, if you make a YouTube channel, if you do this, if you do that, whoever you were nice to that day is going to follow you everywhere you go. So tell me more about this campaign, A See for Everyone, because I'm actually like really drawn into it. Is this something separate from Not a Thrift Store? It sounds like it might be a little bit.
So the way that it started, my grandma actually passed away in a school bus accident, and she was the school bus driver. So she was on the way to take.
Kind of ironic. Like, respectfully, like I just think it's so interesting and kind of cool that you guys are now. It's like almost like her spirit lives on.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's cool because I feel like we've seen her hands like along the way. And I think this campaign was very much inspired by her story, because her thing is she was known throughout her town for just not tolerating any of that on her bus, Wow. Once she saw a kid like outside the bus picking on another kid, she went out and she took care of it. She's like, you not here.
Beat his ass.
Yeah, basically. So she
went out and bullied the kid that was bullying the other kid.
Yes, she teach him a lesson,
Violence and Not A Thrift Store.
Yeah. So it was inspired by her, and
that's awesome.
So I'm curious, and I mean this is kind of off the record, but what was your grandma's name?
Jeannie.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about putting that on a t-shirt, brand, or logo with your thrifting content? Like,
Yeah.
if you, I mean, I know you've got Not A Thrift Store. What if you named your bus Genie? The Genie bus, or you know what I mean, like as a
her
tribute.
bus was 933, so we're in the process of putting 933 on the side of the bus.
Oh, like that was her bus number.
That was her bus number, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome because, I mean, you're saying, I don't think I'm like a celebrity, but I do recognize and I'm really appreciative of, I really do appreciate the following that we've gained and the platform that we have. So I'm in the position to make somebody's day. Like, that's so awesome. And I do catch myself a lot just kind of being like super busy, so whatever I'm doing is the most important thing. I'm not caring about actually stopping by somebody who wants to talk to me and just being like, you're awesome, like, thank you for coming, you, like, because they're the reason that
any of this exists
is because,
Yeah, your audience is
Yeah.
solely the reason that anything socially you create exists, for sure.
yeah.
And as much as, you know, you could hit 1 million and still think you're not a celebrity, but to somebody, you're always going to be one. It especially resonates a little more with the younger generation. They see someone who has 2,000 followers or 3,000, and in their mind, that's a celebrity. So at any point, whether you ever think you're one or not, somebody's going to think you are. So the second that you put a little bit of attention towards showing, you know, a certain level of appreciation for the whole reason that you are even able to do what you're doing, which is the fans and the audience, then they're going to, like I said, follow you for the rest of whatever you get involved with in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that, and I don't think a lot of people realize that you're going to change lives throughout the entire process, from where you started to where you are now. And as it keeps growing, you're going to be put in a lot more opportunities and situations where you can affect people not only close to you, but someone who's in Georgia, someone who's in Michigan, someone who, like, everywhere you go, there's going to be somebody that if you even stop for a brief moment and just introduce yourself and talk to them on a personal level outside of everything that's going on, then you're absolutely going to gain a follower for life. And yeah, I think
was thinking about like the middle school Collin and like how he'd literally go tell all of his friends, somebody from the bus.
Yeah.
He'd be
came up to
freaking
him
out.
and was like, "What's up, dude? How are you doing? What's your name?" And yeah, I'm just like so like grateful to be a part of his business where like if I am like speaking to them as like not Collin but the bus guy, that I can just be like just something great that's happened to them that day.
Like
Yeah.
a light in their life.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have you guys ever, and with this whole, remind me, everyone has a seat? Or
I see for
a seat for everyone.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about partnering with like a nonprofit or like maybe an anti-bullying program or people in that space where
Yeah.
you can honestly like raise money for like anti-bullying campaigns or maybe even taking trips and stopping at middle schools?
Yes, we've actually thought about doing like assemblies, kind of showing up to these high schools that know who we are and talking about bullying, because it's a real thing. And yeah,
It is. It's not. I want to say like, you always watch those movies, and it's like, gonna be like, "What's up, punk?"
Yeah.
They like throw them against the locker. It's
It
literally like that.
happens.
Like you would think like that's so cheesy. That doesn't happen. That's literally how it was
Yeah.
for me.
So
Yeah.
like everything stereotypically that we'd see in a movie, that's kind of what you
There
experienced.
would, yeah. Well, there's
Wow.
that, and then there's also just picking at somebody, like manipulating, and just like
And what's crazy is like in those situations,
those
like
are hard to tell people about too. Like you can't tell adults about those things where it's just someone being super manipulative, just something that adults like won't understand,
Yeah.
or just like any of your friends won't understand.
So our goal is to provide a space for these kids that can talk about maybe those things.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
Just to feel accepted is just like
Mhm.
so.
It's so important.
So
Yeah.
important.
And what I was gonna say is what's crazy is the kids in those two situations, the kid bullying and the kid being bullied, they both need like
Help.
the help.
Yeah.
One as much as the other. Like, and I almost feel like focusing on those kids that are the bullies is the way to help these situations.
And what's crazy is a lot of bullying is stems from envy.
Hmm.
A lot of being picked on and being treated like a certain way is because whoever's doing it to you is jealous of something that you're doing. That's not every situation, obviously, but whether somebody's talking bad about someone on social media or like, oh, I can't, you're the worst, whatever, just keep it, simple. But it's a lot worse than that, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of that comes from envy of what they're doing and what they're accomplishing. And so out of instinct almost, they're treating it as if they were bullying them, that they somehow have the upper hand now on the other person. But I think that's what you guys are doing is really cool. And personally, the trajectory, there's no limit, I don't think, to what you guys are doing.
No, not at all.
You're quite literally doing, and I'll put this on the record right now, you're doing like Dude Perfect, Mr. Beast-esque stuff.
Yeah.
And not to
That's
be
fair.
joking or
Wow.
anything
It's
about
not-
it,
yeah,
but
it's not a joke.
like I'm seriously not kidding, because you came up with an idea, mastered the idea, and you're growing faster than most people would.
Yep.
Mr. Beast came up with an idea, mastered that idea, second most subscribed channel on YouTube. Dude Perfect came up with an idea, mastered that idea, is quite literally ruling the entire sports and trick shot space, and their audience is still who it was when it started. That never switched up. They had an idea, mastered the idea, and grew the idea. And I'd seriously think what you're doing in terms of, because you're not copying anyone, first of all. You're not, oh, this idea was made and I'm going to figure out how to make it better, like how most businesses start, but
Like what we're doing.
Yeah. But you're essentially doing something that has never been seen before.
Mm-hmm.
You've grown faster than I'm imagining both of you expected it to. And you're growing faster than I'm imagining both of you expected it to either.
Yeah.
So
100%.
those are just my words, but
I appreciate
the kind of influence you have is seriously at that level, or could get to that level, or even past that level of people that are doing it now, in the space currently today. So we always like to ask 2 questions before we sign off, and the first one is, if you could give any piece of advice or a tip to somebody to live their life a lot happier or more successful, then what would it be? And the second one is, who is your hero? So just whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I love it. I can go first.
Yeah.
Any piece of advice to anybody? Mine would probably be do hard things, like get uncomfortable. Me and my family love to do ice baths and cold plunges and just crazy stuff like that. Just because, I mean, that literally, I feel like it increases your amount of joy that you can feel.
Right.
Yeah, do hard things, challenge yourself. That's what I would say. But
I don't know. It's weird. I feel like I'm not in the position to give people advice, but
You are more
one
than
thing
you
I
think
can
you are.
One thing I can always say to people is just like, or something I've been thinking about lately. I think I already talked about this. Is whatever you're going through or whatever you have at hand that you're stressed out about is not more important than being kind to people. Like, I feel like I get in my head a lot about what I'm stressed about, like what I'm stressed out about, and I just like have found that you need to make sure to be nice to everybody no matter what.
Yeah, love that.
I love that.
And then who's both of your heroes?
I would say my mom is my hero.
Solid choice.
Just because she's carried us, and she is the hardest worker that I know. She's in the middle of selling her business that she's owned for 12 years to support the family, and she's always looking for people to serve, people to talk to, and is just the best example of hard work. So
Awesome. And then you?
I have to think.
it's me, right?
Trae. Yeah. I don't know. I have like a ton of heroes. I don't know if I can choose, but just like, I don't know, everybody in my life has been a big inspiration. I don't have like a hero, but I'm really appreciative of Trae's family. And, like, it's kind of just me and Trae's family running the bus, so I feel kind of,
You're part of the family.
yeah, I feel kind of adopted, so.
So it's Trae's mom too.
It's Trae's mom.
Shout out Trae's mom.
Shout out Trae's mom.
Double whammy there. No, that's awesome though, and we appreciate you guys for having you on here. And there's a lot of people that are going to be following you for a long time, so don't ever get caught up in the moment, because it's easy to do that. And like we put you on the spot for those questions, just start to think about, what you want out of your future, and just keep, honestly, what you guys are doing, it could quite literally change millions of lives. So just remember that, stay centered, remember where you started. And yeah, man, thank you guys for hopping on here. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
So,
You get to spin the wheel, or?
Oh, you can spin the wheel if you want.
If you want.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's written on there.
Give you guys the
Yeah, we have a
shirts.
present for you.
Wait,
You what?
Did you stop it?
No, it's still going.
Oh, we have a present.
Yeah, we
for
actually
you.
have something.
Oh, okay.
For real?
I'll go grab it.
Yeah, Trae.
Trae will bring it.
All right, you guys get to choose who gets what, but there's a hoodie.
Damn,
and a
dude.
shirt from Not A Thrift Store.
Oh,
Oh, dang.
let's
dude.
go.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, bro. Not a thrift store.
That's what NAT stands for, by the way. Some people
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll show our viewers.
That's sick. Yeah.
Also, go ahead. We're gonna plug your guys' merch in the link in bio for all of our audience out there. Go check them out on Instagram, YouTube. What else are you guys on? Are you
Instagram,
on YouTube?
You are on
YouTube.
Instagram,
TikTok
YouTube.
as well, not as
Okay.
consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll put all your socials in the bio.
So
So
yeah, go check them out in the link below. For all our audience out there, go cop you some merch. They may be coming to a city near you. Spam the comments with your city to make sure that you get picked next.
Idaho.
And where's the next stop? Remind us.
Oregon.
Oregon. Bend, Oregon, right? So.
Bend, Oregon, all the places. Portland, Eugene, all the places.
Well, I know Portland could use you guys, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Sign off.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
You know I got it. I pull up, I come around, make my rounds, it's my town. You know I got it. Hey, when I'm round, they now, what's up now? This touchdown.